These days, we hear a lot of noise about machine counting ballots versus hand counting ballots. Voter confidence, election credibility, and even democracy itself depends on the accuracy of ballot tabulation. So, which one is actually the most accurate method? As of 2022, tabulators are used in over 90% of election jurisdictions in the United States, with the country having some of the longest ballots in the democratic world. Let's start with a small experiment. Rice University produced a study asking people to hand count 120 ballots with 2 races. They got the results wrong more than 30% of the time. Now, an actual example. A study in Wisconsin found that during the 2011 Supreme Court election recount, the hand-counted ballots differed by 0.28%, while the difference from scanned ballots were 0.15%. In the 2016 presidential election, the hand-counted ballots were off by 0.18%, while the scanned ballots were off by 0.13%. In a similar study in New Hampshire, the voting machine error rate was 0.68%, whereas the hand-counting error rate was 1.72%. A Nevada election official in Nye County, with more than 10,000 voters, recruited hundreds of volunteers to hand-count ballots in November 2022 after expressing skepticism about machines. He estimated a human error rate of about 25% after the first day. Hand-counting paper ballots can also be very expensive. In Mesa County, Colorado, a hand count of the 2021 general election was conducted. The county employed 47 two-person teams to hand count 523,988 votes from individual races on 2 ballot styles, either for a district school board race or a ballot measure. The county paid hand counters $12.32 per hour for around 1 week's worth of work, totaling approximately $80,000. Hand-counting ballots can also be time-consuming. Like your results right away? Not so with hand-counted ballots. In Esmeralda County, Nevada's least populated county, 2 county commissioners and a few election workers took more than 7 hours to hand-count 317 ballots in the June 2022 primary. Jurisdictions that conduct audits, a critical part of election administration, offer a comparison. In Shasta County, California, a February 2022 risk-limiting audit took 19 staff members 264 hours to count 9,017 ballots containing 2 contests, 6.9 hours per staff member per contest. A 2022 York County, Pennsylvania audit of 2 races on 1,842 ballots took county staff 4 hours, a process that would have taken nearly 17 days around-the-clock counting to count all races on all of the county's 184,594 ballots. Developing a plan to hand-count the ballots of 112,000 registered voters in the 2024 election, Shasta County, California found that they would require 1,200 additional election workers and that the process would cost over $1.6 million. The plan has since been abandoned. The call for hand-counting all ballots is based on a fear that voting machines are not secure or accurate, which has been proven to be unfounded. Machine vote tabulators must have an error rate no worse than 1 in 500,000 to be certified by the United States Election Assistance Commission. Illinois not only requires all voting machines to be tested to state standards, but also requires all equipment to be tested by a federally accredited voting system testing laboratory. Prior to each election, the Division of Voting and Registration Systems selects a number of jurisdictions to perform a special test of their automatic tabulating equipment and programming. It's also important to note that in Illinois, every election authority must retabulate 5% of precincts and 5% of early voting devices following each election to ensure accuracy. The precincts are randomly selected by the State Board of Elections the morning after the election. Qualified individuals who come within 5% of the votes cast for any successful candidate may also file for a discovery recount within 5 days after the last day for the proclamation of the results. Illinois requires paper ballots for all ballots cast and thus a full paper trail. Even if ballots are cast with the assistance of a touchscreen equipment, the device will print a paper record of that ballot which the voter can verify. In Illinois, voting equipment does not directly connect to the internet. Transmission of unofficial election results from the polling place to the central counting center requires additional equipment to which access is highly restricted. Transmission is done through a secure connection and is only done after the polls have closed and all of the tabulation has occurred. Only a few jurisdictions in Illinois use this feature. Safeguards are in place to prevent home-printed or photocopied ballots from being counted. Your election authority has security measures in place, including signature matching, information checks, barcodes, watermarks, and precise paper weights to prevent fake ballots from being tabulated. Hand-counting ballots can be an important tool in post-election audits, where election officials count small samples to verify machine-tallied results. But counting entirely by hand is impractical anywhere larger than small jurisdictions. More than 99.8% of registered voters live in areas where votes are counted electronically. The remaining jurisdictions are able to do so because of their extremely small size. Most have less than 1,000 registered voters. If you feel unsure about the voting equipment used in your jurisdiction, or you just want to know more about it, we encourage you to attend the public tests before the upcoming election so you can see up close in person how everything works. Local election authorities must perform a public test of the voting equipment at least 5 days prior to each election. The test is open to representatives of political parties, the State Board of Elections, and the public. The test is to prove the accuracy of their equipment. More information about machine vote tabulators can be found on our social media, our website, and the U.S. Election Assistant Commission website.